I'm Raghavendra M. Shetty, Associate Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Kendra Engineering College, Bangalore. This video is on Basic Electronics 18 ELN 14 of VTU syllabus for first semester BE students. This is lecture number 5 of module 1. In this video, I'm going to explain you the working of half-wave rectifier circuit and the parameters associated with the circuit. Half-wave rectifier is a simple circuit with one diode and a load resistance connected to it. Here you can see in the circuit shown, this is a diode D connected. This is R, that is load resistance. This is load resistance. AC input, that is 230 volt, 50 hertz, 230 volt, 50 hertz. AC mains is connected at the input. Then it is connected to a step down transformer. This is transformer, step down transformers with the transformer ratio, winding ratio N1 is to N2. Depends on the value of N1 and N2. It will step down the AC input voltage. This is AC input voltage which I am applying at the input side, that is from AC mains to the transformer primary. At the transformer secondary, I will get a AC input which is given to my rectifier circuit, which is step down. That is the waveform which is shown here. This is input voltage waveform to rectifier circuit, So this is a sine wave. Which has a maximum value of Vm, or I can write this waveform as Vm sine omega t. This is having a waveform is having a shape of sine wave. The time axis is t. This is omega t, and it is having a maximum value of Vm. So this sine wave is represented. As Vm sine omega t. That is applied to the input of the diode. This waveform is connected to input of the diode. So the working of this we will see with respect to this waveform. These two are the output voltage and current waveforms which I can observe across the load. If I measure the voltage or current at these two junctions, that is across the terminals of load resistance, I can see output current is having this shape and output voltage will be having this shape. During positive half cycle, you can see all the values I apply will start from 0, goes to V maximum, that is the positive peak value, and comes back to 0. All the voltage values what I am applying to the diode contains only positive values. So this cycle I call it as a positive half cycle. So during this, suppose a positive value is applied to the diode, if this is the diode. So positive values are applied at this end and negative values is the other end, which is grounded through load. So this is how the connection will be. This end is positive and this is the connection. So these positive values will vary from 0 to Vm and comes back to 0. So initially, till the breakdown occurs, diode will not conduct, and when your input voltage, when the input voltage what you are applying, if the positive value is more than built-in voltage, that is 0.3 volts or 0.7 volts, depends on the diode, then this diode is forward biased, and it starts conducting, and I can interpret this as a closed switch. This I can interpret as a closed switch. Once the switch is closed, whatever the value I am going to apply at the input, this is my input, this is my input, these are my input values. The same will be appeared at the load terminals. Whether it is either it is current waveform or the voltage, whatever you are going to measure, it will follow whatever is inputted. The same input will be outputted. That means the input diode conducts and the output follows the input. That is what we say here. Output follows the input. Whatever is inputted will be outputted. During negative half cycle, this end is negative and this end of diode will be positive, and your diode is reverse biased. And your diode acts as a open switch. Then there is no flow of current, and you will get a zero value. Hence, if I see for one full cycle of the input, that is one positive half and one negative half cycle, if this is the input to the rectifier circuit, during positive half cycle I will get the positive half as it is, and during the negative half cycle I will get 0. So for one cycle of input, this will be my output, and next cycle the same repeats. Let us study some of the parameters associated with the output of half-wave rectifier. You can observe the half-wave rectifier output current and output voltage waveforms are shown in the diagram. This represents output current and this is output voltage. I can write this as the maximum current is Im. It is sinusoidal in nature. Im sin omega t. This is Im sin omega t. This shape. The other half it is 0. Similarly here it is voltage waveform. It is Vm sin omega t. Or I can also write as Im as Vm divided by RL, which is load resistance, plus Rf, which is the forward resistance of the diode, where I can write as RL is load resistance, and Rf forward resistance of a diode. Now we can see the first parameter what we are going to study is average DC current or IDC. I can write IDC from the current waveform which is shown in the diagram, I can write IDC as area under curve of a cycle divided by area under a curve of a cycle divided by the base. In the diagram, I can show it as one full cycle is this. This is one full cycle. So the area under this, and the base is this. This is base. Okay. So area under the curve is given by integrating the waveform given between 0 to 2 pi. The waveform is Im sin omega t d omega t. Im sin omega t d omega t, and the base is 2 pi. I can rewrite this as 1 by 2 pi integral 0 to pi, because only 0 to pi I will get the sine waveform Im sin omega t d omega t. Next pi to 2 pi, it is 0, because I am not getting any waveform. Only 0 to pi, I will get a waveform, and pi to 2 pi, the output is 0. So integrating 1 by 2 pi, this is minus cos omega t pi to 0 to limits 0 to pi, which gives me Im I am taking outside. Im is a constant. One second. Im is the constant. I am taking outside. Minus cos omega t. Sin omega t is minus cos omega t 0 to 2 pi. So it is Im by 2 pi into this will leads to 2. So 2 cancels. This will become Im by pi. So your IDC is equal to Im by pi. This is equal to Im by pi. That indicates that the average value of a DC current of the output waveform shown is determined as Im by pi. From previous, we have found that IDC, that is average DC current, is equal to maximum DC current divided by pi. that is this value. This value, that is the average. It's a constant value. We call it as a Im by pi. Similarly, from the voltage waveform, we can find out what is a average DC voltage. That line represents average DC voltage. A sinusoidal and a constant zero voltage for a one cycle, there will be Vm sin omega t for half of the cycle. Half of the cycle it is Vm sin omega t, and rest of this is 0. Rest of it is 0. So we can find out average voltage VDC is equal to, according to Ohm's law, it is IDC into RL, or I can write it as Im by pi into RL. Im by pi into RL. We know that Im is the maximum current, Im, which is equal to Vm divided by RL plus RF. RL plus RF. Substituting that in the above equation, Im is nothing but Vm divided by pi into RL plus RF into RL, which is VDC. RL is the load resistance, which is in terms of kilo ohms, and RF is very small resistance. RF is very small resistance if you compare with RL. So RF plus RL can be approximated to RL itself, because RF is very much small compared to RL and can be neglected. So it will become Vm by pi RL into RL. RL get cancels, and VDC will be equal to Vm by pi. VDC is equal to Vm by pi. That is average DC value in the waveform. That is this line. This line represents a average value DC voltage, which is equal to Vm maximum V voltage Vm divided by pi. As the name indicates, it is average root mean square current. Root mean square current. IL is nothing but the current what we measure at the load. IL is nothing but load current, which is Im sin omega t for 0 to pi, and which is equal to 0 from pi to 2 pi. From the waveforms we can observe this. Root mean square current is IL square. Mean is the base, it is 1 by 2 pi, and a root of this, square root of this. So it is Im sin omega t square is Im square sin square omega t d omega t between 0 to pi and 0 between pi to 2 pi. Mean is 1 by 2 pi, average of it, and a square root. If I simplify this, it will become 1 minus cos 2 omega t divided by 2. So which will become Im square. If I take it outside, it will become Im inside the square root. Inside the square root, it is 1 by 2 pi. 1 by 2 pi into simplification of 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2 will leads to pi by 2. So pi cancels here. It will become, which is equal to Im into square root of 1 by 4, or square root of 1 by 4 is 1 by 2, that is Im by 2, which leads to this expression. So IRMS is given by Im by 2. Average RMS voltage VRMS can be written as VRMS is equal to IRMS square into RL. From the previous derivation, I can write like IRMS is Im by 2 into RL. We know that Im is VRMS is equal to Im is Vm divided by RL plus RF. Substituting that in place of Im, my equation reduces to Vm divided by 2 into Rf plus RL, can be rearranged as Vm by 2 into RL divided by Rf plus RL. If I consider RL to be very large than Rf, then Rf plus RL will be approximately equal to RL, which leads to cancellation of resistors in the equation. Vm into RL by RL, which leads to so my VRMS will become Vm by 2. Efficiency of any circuit is always referred as output by input. Efficiency is always output divided by input. Here efficiency we are determining in terms of power. So input is AC. So PAC represents power in AC, and PDC represents, that is the output power in DC. PDC is The output is measured across RL, that is the load resistance, and current flowing through the load is the average DC current, that is IDC. So power DC is IDC square into RL. So power equation is I square R. And similarly PAC is the input power that is applied through the secondary of the transformer, that is the AC current. So it is IRMS square into the resistances which comes into picture is one load resistance plus it passes through a diode, single diode also. So it is RL plus RF. In some cases they will also consider, here I have not considered, in some cases they will also consider one more resistance, which is the resistance of a secondary of the transformer, and equation can be written like this also. Here in this case I have not considered the transformer secondary resistance, so I have written PDC as IDC square into RL and PAC as IRMS square into RL plus RF. So this becomes IRMS is Im by 2, so it is Im square by 4. This is IDC is Im by pi, so IDC square is Im square by pi square, dividing them PDC by PAC and rearranging the terms, I will get the equation as 4 by pi square into RL divided by RL plus RF, which can be simplified and written as efficiency eta is equal to 0.406 divided by 1 plus RF plus RL divided by RL. If RF is considered to be too small, this becomes 0.406, or in terms of percentage efficiency can be 0.406 into 100, which is 40.6%. The parameter indicates that half wave rectifier is able to convert only 40% of input power to DC. AC power only 40% has converted to DC. Ripple factor is termed as gamma, which is RMS value of AC component of output to the DC component of output. It gives you a ratio of AC to the DC at the output. To derive for ripple factor, I can write as IRMS square is equal to IAC square plus IDC square, or rearranging IAC square is equal to IRMS square minus IDC square. or IAC is equal to square root of IRMS square minus IDC square. Or ripple factor is equal to IAC divided by IDC. IAC is square root of IRMS square minus IDC square, or IDC can be written as square root of IDC square. Combining them, I'll get this equation. In this, IRMS square IDC square whole square minus IDC square and IDC square becomes minus 1. Substituting for IRMS and IDC, IRMS is Im by root 2 and IDC is Im by pi. This becomes pi by 2 whole square minus 1. If you simplify, you will get a value as 1.21. That in percentage it is 121.1%. That indicates that 121.1% of the DC component ripples exist. 121% of DC component ripple exist in the output. That indicates that half-wave rectifier is very poor circuit used as a rectifier. Peak inverse voltage or PIV of a diode is nothing but the maximum voltage Vm. Thank you for watching.